profanity, racial, or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student-athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from Boucher Field. At this time, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, for the visiting Mariners. Captain, senior forward, number 10, Peter Arias. In goal is senior number 1, Trevor Gray. A junior midfielder number 2, Xander Fortuna Ramos. A junior defender number 4, Daniel Chisma. A freshman midfielder number 5, Ronnie Morgan. A freshman forward, number 7, John Dickinson. A senior defender, number 8, Will San Pedro. A senior forward, number 11, Ruben Harrison. A junior defender, number 12, Dominic Jacoya. A sophomore midfielder, number 19, Elijah Eaton. And a sophomore midfielder, number 20, J.D. Van de Mergel. Maine Maritime is under the direction of head coach Billy Shannon, and he's assisted by Finn Ducker. And now, the starting lineup for your Husson University Eagles. A senior captain from Barcelona, Spain, number 26, Gerard Arias. In goal, a sophomore from Lucerne, Switzerland, number 1, Alex Recksteiner. A sophomore from Madrid, Spain, number 4, Pedro Molina. A junior from Concord, New Hampshire, number 6, Mosi Masimango. A sophomore from Madrid, Spain, number 9, Mario Alvarez. A junior from Munich, Germany, number 15, Rafael Beckenbauer. A freshman from Mexico City, Mexico, number 19, Patricio Regatas. A senior from Dedham, Massachusetts, number 20, Ben Shumway. A freshman from Caracas, Venezuela, number 21, Carlos Echevers. A freshman from Caracas, Venezuela, number 22, Miguel Morales. And a sophomore from Garbar, Iceland, number 24, Arnie Heridason. The Eagles are coached by Gavin Penny, and he's assisted by Carlos Bermudez, Stephen Bereni, and Alex Caballero, and Matt Goodman. Fans, at this time, we ask you please rise and honor America for the playing of our national anthem.
And welcome everyone to Boucher Field as we have NAC East semifinal action between the number 4 ranked Maine Maritime Mariners against the number 1 ranked team in the NAC East, the Husson University men's soccer team. I'm Isaac Potter alongside Avery Henningsen. Avery, literally both of these teams played here last week and once again playing against each other.
Yeah, we're in for an interesting matchup here today, Isaac. It was a close game last weekend, and I'm sure we'll see another close one here tonight.
Absolutely. Maine Maritime coming in with a record of 5-9-1 overall, 4-4-1 in conference play. Avery, who's a player to watch for here for Maine Maritime?
I think for Maine Maritime, it's number 11, Ruben Harrison, who leads the team in goals on the season. And we didn't see him last weekend. He was away from the game, and he's somebody who the Eagles are going to have to watch out for here tonight.
Definitely does a lot of good things for the team. Maine Maritime currently coming in on a 3-game losing streak. And now we'll look over at Husson. They're coming in with a record of 12-3-2 overall, 8-0-1 in conference play. Once again, hosting the NAC East playoffs. Avery, who's a player to keep an eye out for the Eagles?
I think for the Eagles, it has to be Arnie Heriderson, number 24, who has 7 goals and 4 assists on the season and really does it all for this team. He leads the team in points and is one of the top NAC players on the season so far.
Absolutely. Heriderson's definitely had a strong season as well. Also, another player that has also had a good season as well is number 1, Alex Rexsteiner. And he's only coming in as a sophomore, Avery, but he's done a lot of good things for this team this year.
Yeah, he leads the league in save percentage on the year, and the Husson has an excellent defense, but he's made the saves when he has the opportunities to.
Definitely. And as we're right about to almost get things underway here, like we mentioned, these two teams both played against each other last Saturday, and it was Husson coming away with a 2-0 victory here on their senior day. Husson had goals from Carlos Echeverri and Kiko Sanchez in the win. Last year, these two teams also faced off against each other in the NAC East semifinals, and Husson won 4-0. So I'm sure we should be in for a very entertaining game here, and I'm sure Maine Maritime's looking to try to bounce back. And with adding Ruben Harrison, it's going to possibly change how this outcome could look.
He's certainly a player who could change it for this team. That last weekend they didn't have a whole lot of offensive pressure with only 3 shots over the total contest compared to Husson, who really poured it on in that game with 29 total shots, and they definitely controlled the ball, and it's something that for this Maine Maritime team, they're going to have to be able to keep possession of the ball in this one.
For sure. And it's going to be the Eagles starting it off here. And like we mentioned, Maine Maritime got in on the last day with a loss from Umpy losing to Northern Vermont Linden. They were able to get into that 4th seed, and they were able to sneak in, and now they're going to be facing Husson here today as the Eagles start off with possession here, and we see Shizmar with it here, gives it over to Van der Mergel. Van der Mergel trying to send it down to Dickinson. Rex Steiner's going to come out of the net for that one. He's going to pick it up.
And I can see already, Isaac, that they're running a much more pressured offense here today, trying to potentially get an early goal against these Husson Eagles.
Yeah, you can definitely tell Maine Maritime, definitely, like you said, using an attack approach, trying to get out early because, Husson really just took control from start to finish last week and, looking to try to change things up here.
Yeah, that first goal can be often the most important one as it gives the rest of the team that momentum moving forward for the rest of the game, Isaac.
Absolutely. We want to take a moment to thank today's game sponsors, Performance PT, designing a healthier you, Greenway Equipment Sales in Ellsworth and Bangor, Nothing Runs Like a Deer, and Governor's Restaurant in Casella, giving resources new life. We'll find its way to Mossy Mongo. It's going to go all the way down to Rex Steiner, and he's going to boot that one down the fields. Ray Goddess trying to get to that one. Tries to give a pass over to Echeverri. It's going to be taken away by the Mariners. Dickinson trying to rush down the line there, but Molina will get in front of him. Gives a pass over there to Echeverri, and we'll see the first foul of the game here for the Mariners, and will be the Eagles taking this.
And the Eagles, Isaac, have a starting lineup that includes a lot of players who have played a lot of minutes for this team this season, and they're getting healthy at the right time of year right now.
Yes, definitely. As last year, Jordy Cabal was injured last year in the playoffs. That definitely hurt them when they're trying to make a championship run. Husson looking to try to, make it back to the NAC East championship, trying to redeem themselves off losing to UMaine Farmington last year, losing to them 1-0. And I'm sure all these players here are looking to try to, make that happen and make that run.
Yeah, and for a lot of these guys, obviously not all of them, as Husson has several freshmen on this team that are starting, but a lot of the players out there right now were a part of that team that lost. That it means a lot to them if they could go further in the tournament this season.
For sure. It's Molina staying with it, and it's going to be kicked over there to Alvarez. Alvarez trying to send it down. And the ball's going to go out of play. Will go off the Mariners, and it'll be a throw-in. Beckenbauer makes the throw into Echeverse. Back over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer tries to make a pass. It's going to be Dickinson now. Over to Harrison. Molina. Over to Morales. Morales. Over to Alvarez. Osimango gives the pass over to Arias on the right side here. Looking to try to make something happen. To Heriderson now. Heriderson getting inside the box. Gives the pass over. Arias gets a foot on it. Stays with the Eagles. Alvarez trying to fight it off. It'll go out of play. Riderson over to Arias. Arias trying to give it back to Riderson, and it's going to be kicked out there by Van de Mergel.
And you saw in that last play that there was a lot of contact there near the end of that, and that's something I would not be surprised here in this game.
Ball finds its way over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer gives it to Alvarez. Over to Morales. Over to Echeverse. Echeverse tries to make a cross. Almost goes off him, but stays in play. Morales tries to give a pass to Beckenbauer, and it will be a turnover.
And those are two players to watch for on this Husson team for the next 4 years, and Carlos Echeverse and Miguel Morales, who are both very talented freshmen. That they're players who I think we'll see quite a lot of over the next 4 seasons, Isaac.
Definitely. They've have started a lot of games this season, provided a good impact to this team. I'm sure you will definitely see a lot more good things from them in the future. Morales gives it over to Echeverse, and it looks like it'll be an offsides call. That'll be called on Ray Gaddis. Definitely the Eagles here, I'm sure Coach Gavin Penny is trying to tell them to score early, because from watching the games this season, whenever when they have scored early, they've really taken control from start to finish.
Well, this team likes to play a very patient passing attack that they like to work around their entire formation, and when you're losing a game, it's a lot harder to do that in the later going, but if you can have that lead, it allows them to be patient and give themselves the better opportunities on the field. Definitely.
Van de Mergel will be called for the foul there. This is going to be Alvarez who's going to take this kick here. I believe they called that one on Van de Mergel for a little shove to Heriderson.
And that's that physicality you talked about earlier, that from what I've seen, the Mariners are trying to set the tone here early and potentially keep themselves on top in terms of physicality.
Alvarez will send it down the field towards Arias. Arias tries to kick that one, but misplaces it, and it will be a turnover, giving it back over to the Mariners here.
Yeah, it's a very difficult play there that Arias tried to attempt. That he's trying to kick the ball while he's on the run and just have it get to his foot at the perfect time, and sometimes that timing can be very difficult.
So that was Trevor Gray with the kick there. Trevor Gray, I thought I was really impressed with last week. Made a lot of nice saves. Obviously, he did give up those 2 goals, but he made a lot of nice stops last weekend and did a lot of good things for this team.
Yeah, he had 10 saves on the day a week ago, and he's somebody that even though he allowed those 2 goals, the first of those, we talked about it during that game, that the first of those he had 2 straight very difficult saves on it, and it was just the third one he couldn't quite get there. And the second goal was just a perfect play from Husson, and I think he's somebody that could really keep this Mariners squad in it if Husson starts to get a lot of pressure again.
Yeah, definitely, like you mentioned, he's coming in as a senior from Gorham, Maine. Has provided a lot of good things for this team over the years. He's looking to try to make one last run at it. Not sure if he will still have eligibility for next year or not due from the COVID year, but if this happens, you know, to be his last run at it, he's looking to try to go out with a bang. Masimango gives over to Shumway, over to Arias. Arias to Heriderson. Heriderson gives it back over to Arias. Pulls back, gives it to Alvarez. Alvarez going to take a shot, and a nice save there from Gray. And Mariners come away with it.
Yeah, and like you said, with the years of eligibility, both these teams have multiple seniors out on the field that this could potentially be their last game for one squad or the other, that this game means a lot to both of them.
Arias over to Echeverse, backs it up to Alvarez. Arias gets the wrong foot of that one, and it's going to be kicked out there by Jacoya. That one goes out of play. Jacoya also does a lot of good things for this team, has 4 goals, 2 assists, 10 points on the season. And it's going to be Harrison now coming away with it. He gives it over to Fortuna Ramos. Back over to Yeton. Tries to give it up to Harrison. Over to Fortuna Ramos. Tries to give a pass over, and it's going to be kicked out there by Shumway.
And you can see the impact that Harrison's making already here today, Isaac. That last week Dickinson was trying to do everything for this team up top, and now he has the very spectacular help of Harrison up there to potentially make something happen.
Definitely, you know, not having Harrison, you know, obviously we both saw last week Maine Maritime really struggled offensively to try to, you know, get something going. I thought defensively they did well. They just really struggled offensively. You know, with adding him, Harrison, into this game now, it's definitely going to change a different approach of how Husson maybe wants to play.
Well, not having to worry about them allowed them to play a little bit of a more lax defensive formation, that they're really only worrying about 1 or 2 players. But with the speed of Harrison up there, he's somebody that they're now going to have to keep an extra eye on every play.
We'll definitely see how he will make an impact to this game. This ball goes out of play. Will still remain with the Mariners here. Fortuna Ramos, a junior from West Covina, California. Thrown by Yeton here. Send it down. Tries to give it down towards Audions, but will be pulled back to the midfield. Van der Mergel tries to send it to Harrison. Be kicked out once again by Shumway. As we're just under 34 minutes to play here in this first half. And we'll have a throw in here from Yeton. Yeton makes the throw in. Tries to give it over to Masimango. Masimango will kick that one out. Still staying with the Mariners here.
And this is something we saw last weekend too, Isaac, that Yeton has a very powerful throw and can get his team scoring opportunities from the sidelines. And he's somebody that is a very key player for this team.
So he makes a nice throw in just a little over the head of Harrison. And it will be called a handball there off of Fortuna Ramos. Like you mentioned, Yetton coming in as a sophomore from Farmington, Maine, played at Mount Blue High School growing up.
And you saw there on that one that he got a ball all the way into around the 6-yard line, and that's something that Husson's going to have to watch out for today, is those long throw-ins that can be very dangerous.
Arias tries to send it down towards Heriderson. It's going to be bicycle kick there by Van der Mergel. Mossy Mongo will be called for the foul there, and the Mariners will stay with it. Harrison using that quick speed up the sideline here is able to force it off of Shumway. As there'll be once again a foul called on Audions. So he gives Arias a shove in the back there. And Shumway will kick it underway. Kind of a little bit of a chillier night here tonight, as unlike last week, and it was kind of warm, but now we're really starting to feel the fall weather.
Yeah, we're certainly pushing further and further into that fall season and closer to winter. And this is the fall soccer that a lot of these players know and love out here, though.
Definitely there's no wind blowing or anything like that, but it's definitely cooler temperatures here. We see a good crowd so far from the Mariners and the Eagles fans, and also there will be a game after this one, as it's going to be Thomas College taking on UMaine Farmington. That should be a very entertaining game to watch. So whoever wins this game here will play the winner of that game after this one. Echeverse gives it to Morales. Morales pulls it over to Alvarez. Mongo trying to stay with it. He does. Gives a pass over to Arias. Arias tries to find Heriderson, and Van der Mergel will kick it out of play. As we're going to get ready to see a throw in here for the Eagles. Arias over to Heriderson. Heriderson still trying to stay with it, and he does. Tries to give a crossover, gets tripped. And there will be a foul called there. It's going to be on number 12, Dominic Chakoya. It's just a little bit outside of the box.
Yeah, Heriderson made a nice move out there to get around Chakoya and set up potentially a cross there, but he was fouled from behind, and it'll set up a nice free kick opportunity for this Eagles squad.
It definitely could be a great chance here for the Eagles to get on the board first, as it's going to be Alvarez who's going to take this.
The other nice thing with this is it forces this team to be wary of any pass anywhere around the box.
Alvarez tries to give it inside. Be headed out there by Morgan. Tries to make another pass inside the box. But Eagles will still remain with it. Morales gives it to Molina and taken away there by Yetton. Yetton tries to send it down the field, but nobody was there. So Mossy Mongo's going to give it over to Rechsteiner. Finds his way over to Audions. Audions tried to take a shot there as Rechsteiner was out of the net. But he was able to get back in time for the stop. He'll throw it over to Molina on the left side of us. Beckenbauer looking to find someone. Gives it to Ryderson. Over to Shumway. Shumway tries to send it down to Arias. Arias on the right side. Gives a pass over. Be kicked out there. Arias still stays with it, though. Makes a pass. Tries to give it over to Regatas. Lots of nice plays there. Alvarez with a shot. Just goes a little over the nets. But lots of good looks here for the Eagles.
Yeah, he couldn't quite get his chest over that one as he's trying to hit that on a one-touch ball, and it's a very difficult shot from that distance, but he certainly put a beating on that ball.
I believe that was Morgan who was in there. Made a lot of Nice stops from that cross from Arias. He tried to cross it twice, but he kept getting kicked out by Morgan. At Traverse, over to Beckenbauer, to Morales, back over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer looking to try to make something happen. Tries to make a cross, and it looked like it went out of play, and it will be given back over to the Mariners.
Yeah, it was a really nice effort play there from Beckenbauer, but just a little too far from him to keep that ball in bounds.
Yeah, he was trying to give it over to Regattas there. Just was not able to, like you mentioned, keep it in play. And Gray will kick it away here. Gray sends it over down to Masimango, to Heriderson. Back over to Masimango. Makes a nice pass towards Morales. Morales now tries to give a pass over to Heriderson. Herider tries to head it. And a nice play there from Trevor Gray as that could have floated into the back of the nets. But it does look like Trevor Gray is down with an injury right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite what happened there, Isaac. He got up there and knocked that ball just over the crossbar, but it looked like he landed pretty heavily on his shoulder, and he might have just gotten shaken up there as he went full out and sacrificed his body to prevent that goal. An excellent goalkeeping play from him.
Yeah, it was a great play from him, and it looked like it could. Heriderson's shot could have floated right in there, but the Eagles will have to take a corner kick here. Alvarez is going to take it himself. Alvarez tries to give it inside to Regattas, to Echeverse, and he's going to try a shot there, and we'll go over towards the netting, and we'll give it back over to the Mariners.
Yeah, that was the best chance that the Eagles have had here today, and I think they've been moving the ball well, but they need to give themselves some more scoring opportunities here over the course of this game.
As Gray tries to give it down the fields. And it will be a foul called there on the Eagles. Harrison. Give it, and the Mariners will move down the field. It's going to be Yetten. Actually, excuse me, Van der Mergel's now going to take this kick here. So the Mariners looking to try to get on the board here. As we're just now under 26 minutes to play in this first half. Still remaining 0-0. Van der Mergel sends it down. And Rex Steiner's going to let it go out of play. And will be given back over to the Eagles. Molina over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer fights off Fortuna Ramos. Gives it to Echeverse. Beckenbauer back over to Echeverse, to Morales. And Molina now will come away with it. He'll give it over to Heriderson. Heriderson tries to give a pass. Ball finds its way over to Shizmar, gives it over to Audions. Tries to give a pass to Dickinson, and Shumway is going to kick that one out. Jacoya will have the throw in here. Excuse me, it will actually be Shizmar taking this one. Tries to give it to Harrison, kicked out by Masimango. Regattas trying to find off Van der Mergel. He'll still stay with it. Gives it to Arias. Arias to Heriderson. Back over to Regattas. Down to Heriderson on the right side. Heriderson tries to make a cross to Regattas. Regattas takes a shot there. Nice defensive play by the Mariners. As Gray made that first stop, Regattas tried to kick it in off the rebound, but I believe that was Morgan who kicked that out.
Yeah, Morgan was just in the perfect spot at the perfect time right there. And Regattas, I think he should have had a goal right there, Isaac, as he was just right there and just couldn't quite finish it there at the end.
I think the Eagles were definitely a little bit surprised there that they did not score on that opportunity, and just a big stop there from the Mariners.
And that's something we saw last week, that Regatas had a lot of shots on goal and a lot of shots on the day, and he just couldn't seem to quite find the back of the net. And obviously he has that goal-scoring ability in him, that he scored quite a few goals for this Eagles team, and I think he's just been unlucky in these last 2 games versus the Mariners, that he's definitely been giving himself the opportunities.
Yeah, Regatas has definitely, done a lot of good things for this team this year. As a pass tries to find its way over to Jacoya. Jacoya trying to make a cross, and it's going to be headed out there by Masimango. Nice pass by Regatas, and the Eagles looking to attack. Van der Mergel will kick it out from something happening there.
Yeah, it was an excellent play by Regatas there to come streaking back from the offensive third and knock that ball away and stop the Mariners from potentially having a counterattack.
It's Arias will try to boot it down towards Regatas. Kicked out there by Van der Mergel, but the Eagles will come away with it. Beckenbauer looking to find someone, tries to give it inside to Regatas. As Regatas was trying to, believe it was, actually I don't think there was no whistle on that, but Gray just comes away with it.
Yeah, I think Regatas was just trying to maybe sweep that towards Ryerson over on the back post, but couldn't quite get his toe on it.
As there will be a foul there on the Eagles, back over to the Mariners. As Van der Mergel will set up here, looking to try to send it down the field for the Mariners here. Van der Mergel takes a nice strong kick at it. Rechsteiner having to jump up for that and make the stop. It's a good kick there, though, by Van der Mergel. Molina gives over to Echeverse. Echeverse still staying with it, but taken away. San Pedro tries to send it down to Dickinson, but will find its way over to Rechsteiner. Rechsteiner looking to try to find someone. Rechsteiner tries to send it down to Regatas, over to Heraderson, but will be kicked out there by Yeton. And Regatas, no whistle there, as Regatas trying to give it in. Gives it to Alvarez. Alvarez will send it over to the other side of the field to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer will lose it and taken away there by the Mariners. About 20 and a half minutes to left play here in this first half. Still remaining scoreless. I'm Isaac Potter alongside Avery Henningsen in NACI's semifinal action between number 4 Maine Maritime Academy and number 1 Husson University.
And so far it's been a very even game, that both these teams have had chances. I think Husson's had a few more dangerous opportunities, but this Mariners squad can certainly get in and around the box.
Harrison looking to try to make a pass. Rechsteiner's going to have to pick that one up before Jacoya makes a play on that. Arias to Alvarez. Alvarez makes a nice pass down to Heraderson. Heraderson. A nice defensive play there from Shizmar. Finds its way over to Echeverse. Mosimango. Back over to Beckenbauer. To Morales. Morales. We'll give it over to Mosimango. Over to Echeverse. Nice pass to Morales. Morales gets tripped up there. And there is a whistle. And it's going to be a penalty kick here, as that foul goes on J.D. Van der Mergel inside the box, and the Eagles have a good chance to make something happen.
Yeah, and a beautiful pass there from Echeverse into Morales, and that was just the play the Eagles needed to potentially get on the board here early.
As this one's currently at 19-11, as Mario Alvarez, who's going to take this kick here for the Eagles. Gray looking to make a stop. Alvarez getting ready here. Alvarez shoots. Nice play from Gray. Alvarez off the rebound and scores it. And just like that, the Eagles off to a 1-0 start here. Just a nice play there from Alvarez. So we'll try to take a look at this replay here. Alvarez taking the shot. Nice stop by Gray, but Alvarez just a great heads up. Able to rebound that and put it in.
Yeah, and Gray made an excellent stop on that play, but wasn't able to quite get there. And Alvarez did a nice job of not standing around and watching, but rather followed that ball into the goal and slotted it home.
Definitely, as that goal came with 19:09 left to play here in this first half. The Eagles off to a strong start. We'll see how the Mariners will respond here. Ball goes out of play. Over to the Mariners. It's going to be number 19, Elijah Yetton, who's going to make this throw in here. Yetton makes a throw in. Tries to give it to Jacoya. And Arias is going to kick it out.
And that was just a little unlucky there for Gray, as he made an excellent save on that ball, and it was just bounced straight back to Alvarez, and he knew right what to do with it. But Gray, as we saw in the game last weekend, he continues to make those difficult saves in his goal there, and he's gotten unlucky on a few, and he's certainly made some other nice plays.
Hey, definitely I was very impressed with him last weekend, and made a nice save there, but just was an unfortunate bounce back over to Alvarez, and Gray just didn't have the time to be able to get up in time to make the stop. Molina will try to boot it down, and looks like it'll be a foul called there on Masimango.
And that's the early goal that we talked about in the pregame, that whichever one of these teams got that first goal would definitely be in the driver's seat for the rest of the game.
Dickinson tries to rush down, and we'll get a foul called there. And it looks like it will be a corner kick, and I believe this will be MMA's first corner kick of this game.
And I think on this one, both Van de Mergel and Ruben Harrison are both players to watch out for this Mariners squad, as players who can certainly get up there and get their head on the ball.
Jacoya will take this corner kick here. He'll get ready. Jacoya makes a nice pass. Finds his way over to Morgan, tries to head it in. It'll be kicked out there by the Eagles. Will still remain with MMA. And the Mergel. Makes a throw in over to Audions. And Harrison. And it's going to be a foul there on Masimango. And it'll be a play here for the Mariners.
Yeah, and this is a very dangerous spot to have a free kick, because these players could certainly try to bend it right over that wall and into the goal, and they could also get it into those players on the back post. It leaves the Eagles they have to wonder what they're going to do here.
We'll see how MMA will line this up here. It's Harrison and Jacoya here. Jacoya tries to make a pass inside, goes over the head of everybody, and it'll be a throw in for the Eagles.
And it was interesting that they didn't have Harrison out there on that back post. That I wonder if in the future we might see a similar free kick lineup there with both Jacoya and Harrison there, but Harrison winds up taking the shot instead on a play like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if they happen to run that once again. And I think a lot of the Eagles players, might have thought too that it was going to be Harrison that was going to take that kick instead of Jacoya. Kind of surprised everyone, but it did not matter as it went over the head of everybody.
Well, sometimes it's the person who doesn't do anything that makes the biggest impact on the play, because a lot of people, they see him and they wonder if he's going to take the shot, and then that gets eyes off people who are on the back post looking for the head.
Ball will find its way over to Regatas, over to Etchevers. Etchevers tries to make a pass to Heriderson. Van de Mergel. Over to Shumway. Dickinson will track it down for the Mariners. Gives it to Jacoya. Jacoya tries to give a pass over to Harrison, but taken away by Beckenbauer. Morales. Over to Regatas. Van de Mergel will stay with it here. As Audions over to Etchevers, over to Morales, to Mosimango. Mosimango trying to give a pass down to Arias, but it will go out of play and be a throw in here for the Mariners. So we see Shizmar make the throw in over to Arias, to Mosimango. And Regatas trying to stay with it now. Gives it to Alvarez. Alvarez back to Regatas. Regatas trying to make a pass. Be taken away there by Yetin. Yetin will lose it and give it over, and finds his way over to Beckenbauer, to Morales. Back over to Mosimango. Eagles looking to continue the patient offensive passing here. So far, definitely we have seen in this game the Mariners using a different attack, as they're not letting, Husson, have the ball as much.
Yeah, but that hasn't led to a lot of opportunities here for them today, as they don't have a shot yet in this game. That on Rechsteiner, that they've had several plays in and around the box, but they haven't quite managed to put one on goal here.
Rechsteiner still continuing good things in the goal. Dickinson. Shumway will head it over to Rechsteiner, and he'll look to try to find someone open here. Rechsteiner booted down the fields. Send it towards Regatas. This ball will bounce its way over to Trevor Gray.
And Rechsteiner has been somebody who's been a brick wall for this Husson team. That he's led the NAC in shutouts on the season with 7. That he's somebody who doesn't let up a lot of goals, and he's very calm and can make those important saves when he needs to.
Yeah, he's definitely done a lot of good things, and obviously it has helped the Eagles, secure that #1 seed in the NAC East this year. Definitely has made a lot of nice things, and only a sophomore too, so definitely has a bright future along with a lot of other Husson players here. Arias pulls it over to the midfields, gives it Alvarez, tries to give it to Morales, and it looks like before that play, there's going to be a foul called. I think it's going to go on Arias. And actually, no, it was just a foul there on Van de Mergel. And Alvarez will have a kick here.
And he could theoretically shoot this too, Isaac. That was a foul that could be used as an offensive play.
As Molina was trying to get in there, and Trevor Gray will pick that one up. So now we see Smith try to give a pass over to Audions. Taken away there by the Eagles. Arias gives it to Molina. Molina being swarmed there by Dickinson and Harrison.
That was a really heads-up play there for Molina to get that out wide and not put his goalkeeper in a bad situation there.
As it looks like there'll be a foul called there as Morales gets tripped up after making a nice little move there.
Yeah, a couple pretty hard fouls here in this last 5 minutes. This Mariners squad is probably a little bit frustrated out there that, as you said, they've lost 3 straight and they're losing this one currently, and they don't want to go home today with the loss.
Definitely with a win or go home kind of situation for them. They definitely want to keep their season alive. They are able to sneak into the playoffs like we mentioned earlier with last weekend. It was Umpy losing to Northern Vermont Linden. Alvarez tries to send it down towards Shumway, and it's going to be Gray picking it up. Gray with a big boot down the field.
And that's something that their coach has been trying to do here, as Husson likes to send Molina and Shumway, two of Husson's best defenders, all the way up the field on those free kick opportunities. And the counterattack with them not in the back line can be something that the Eagles are going to want to watch out for.
Definitely is something for sure to watch out for. Hryderson trying to give a pass to Regatas, and Gray comes out of the net. Shumway, Mossy Mongo, over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer to Etchevers to Morales now. Morales looking to pull it back, tries to give a pass over, finds its way over to Arias. Arias is going to try a shot here and will go over the net and go out of play. Just now under 9 minutes left to play in the first half.
Yeah, that was a good idea there from Arias, as he had a lot of time there around 20, 25 yards out from the goal there, but he just couldn't quite get his chest and knee over the ball.
It's number 6, Landon Nichols, checks into the game here for the Mariners. Still have yet to see a sub from the Eagles, even though that is something that we have seen from them on the season. They don't really go to the subs in the first half, and they'll look to try to maybe possibly play some more players in the second half. Recksteiner makes the throw in, gives it over to Molina, to Etchevers, over to Morales. And he's going to kick it out of play there. Will be given back over to the Mariners.
And the Eagles have a very deep bench. It's not for a lack of players that Coach Penny subs very infrequently in the first half. It's more of just a mindset and a coaching style that he has to keep those starters out there and have some of what he considers his best players get those goal-scoring opportunities for him early and work those other players in later in the game. That the Eagles have some very talented players who can come in off the bench when needed.
Yeah, definitely, like you mentioned, a lot of those players off the bench could, be able to start for this team. Players like, Christian Quiones, Jared Bolton, Florian Gasser, all those guys, make a big impact off the bench. And when they are in the game, they definitely help out. Definitely is nice to have for Coach Penny just to have, such a good deep bench and to rely on those players, and especially with now it's playoff time. Dickinson almost takes that away from Recksteiner. Shumway over to Hryderson. Kicked out there by Shizmar.
And some of those players that you mentioned are people who are coming off injury here on this late part of the season, that I know Gasser was dealing with a little bit of something, and he's just come back recently, and he's somebody who could make a big impact over this playoff run for the Eagles.
Definitely. We'll definitely see how he can make an impact for this team, as this team looking to try to make a run towards a NAC championship.
And it looked like Masamongo got a yellow card there for the Eagles just around the top of the half circle at the 18 there, and this is a very dangerous spot for a free kick for this Mariners squad that I would not be surprised if number 11 Ruben Harrison takes a shot at this one.
Yeah, and it was Harrison trying to break free there, and Masimango ended up tripping him, and it probably could have been a dangerous situation there for the Mariners, but, you know, this is also a very dangerous situation right now, and we'll see who ends up taking this, as it's Audions, Dickinson, and Harrison line up on this backside here. Harrison took the shot there, blocked away. And Molina will kick that out of play there.
An excellent job there from the wall to get up and knock that ball down and stop that scoring opportunity. But we've seen before that Yedden can get these types of plays all the way into the box, and I would not be surprised if this is over yet.
No, nice throw in there from Yetton. Finds his way over to Morgan. Excuse me, that is actually Nichols. Arias. Finds his way over to Smith. Smith trying to chase down Arias, as the ball will go out of play, and did go off the Mariners, and the Eagles will kick it away.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Rechsteiner simply gets this all the way out of his defense. The Mariners have had a little bit of a surge here post that goal scored there and by the Eagles, and I would not be surprised if Rechsteiner just gets this away from him.
So he will send it down the field. Tries to send it towards Alvarez. Ryderson with a nice little move there. Still staying with it. Ryderson, one of the top goal scorers for the Eagles on the season. Beckenbauer to Morales. Tries to give it back over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer with a cross. Van der Mergel kicks it up in the air, and Gray will pick it up.
Yeah, and if that had found its way to Ryerson, he was right there for that and just barely got intercepted there. And Ryerson almost had another goal-scoring opportunity there.
Definitely could have been a good look. And the Eagles here looking to attack. Morales tries to give it to Molina. And it'll be sent back down to Beckenbauer, over to Molina. Molina to Morales, back over to Molina. Molina with a nice pass over, just goes over the head of everybody. Arias now, trying to make a cross. He does. A little bit too far over Morales, keeps it from going out of bounds. Morales still staying with it. So he gets tripped up there, no whistle on the call. Ball finds its way over to Shumway and over to Rechsteiner. And now it's 4 minutes left to play in the first half. Eagles up 1-0 still over Maine Maritime. So that's kicked out there by Harrison.
Yeah, and for the Eagles, they would love to get that second goal and go into halftime with a pretty easy chest that they're up 2-0 and a lead that's hard to overturn when you're not allowing the other team a lot of scoring opportunities. And on the flip side, for the Mariners, they would love to tie this game up and potentially knot it at 1-1.
The Eagles looking to try to add some more momentum on their side. Ball finds its way over to Echeverse to Ryderson. Ryderson took a shot there, and it was San Pedro making the stop. And it did go off of the Mariners. And it looks like it will be a corner kick once again for the Eagles. Alvarez once again will get ready to line up for this corner kick. Alvarez sends it in. Headed out there by Van der Mergel. He'll give it over to Morales. Morales. And an offside's called. Looks like it was called on Shumway. Giving it back over to the Mariners. As Gray will Kick it away. Gray. Over to Masimango. Morales gives over to Alvarez. To Echeverse. Echeverse tries to give it over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer tries to make a pass down towards Heriderson. Heriderson's going to track it down. Give it over to Arias. Arias to Echeverse. Echeverse with a shot. And it looks like it was possibly partially tipped there. And it was. And that means Alvarez is going to try to line up for the corner kick, as we're just now about a minute and a half left to play in the first half.
Yeah, and even with that little kick, that ball almost found its way into that bottom corner that kind of caught Gray on his heels there. And I think if that had just gone a little bit more to the right, that might have snuck its way in.
Alvarez with the corner. Tries to find his way over to Molina. Over to Echeverse. Echeverse with the shot there. And Trevor Gray will pick it up once again for the Mariners. Gray will send it down the field towards Beckenbauer. Given over there to the Mariners. Taken away by the Eagles and go off of the Mariners here.
And we have quite a crowd all of a sudden, Isaac, as we're getting closer to halftime here. As these Eagles students have come out to support their team.
Yeah, definitely a great crowd on our hands here. And we see some of the Sear buses pulling in here. Some of the other teams getting ready for tonight's action. There also will be some Nackies playoff action here again tomorrow, as it will be Uppy taking on Husson. And it'll be Maine Maritime taking on Maine Farmington.
Yeah, on the women's side of things there, that they'll be playing their same little 4-team tournament at the same field.
And that is how the first half is going to end, as the Eagles are up to a 1-0 lead. As Mario Alvarez scored the first goal of the game there. And Avery, what are just some thoughts from that first half?
And I think the Eagles controlled the ball really well in that half. That it wasn't quite as dominant as in that game last weekend, but they certainly had more opportunities than this Mariners team. But the Mariners with Ruben Harrison up there and some of those other players, Jacoya and Dickinson, can certainly get a ball in the back of the net here. And I think for the Eagles, they just want to keep them away and potentially get that second goal to make their hearts a little bit lighter here in the second half.
Should definitely be in for a very entertaining second half here. We're going to take a break here, but when we come back, we'll get ready for second half action right here on Husson Eagles Sports Network. And we're back here out of halftime as it's Husson leading this one 1-0 over Maine Maritime Academy in NAC East semifinal play. I'm Isaac Potter alongside Avery Henningsen. We're right about to get things underway for the second half. Avery, what were just some of your thoughts on that first half, and what are some things that both teams are going to have to do if they want to be able to come out with this victory?
I think both teams played well. The Mariners impressed me more in this game than they had in the game last week, and that they've had a few more chances on goal in this first half, but they haven't had quite enough, in my opinion. That Husson's outshot them 12-2 with shots on goal there. Husson's leading 6-0, and for this team to come back, they're going to start to need to capitalize on some of those scoring opportunities they have, and we'll see if they change up their formation at all here today, as it looks like they're going to try to send this one all the way up to this right corner, I would imagine, as you can see some of their players lined up like track athletes out there.
Yeah, and if you're, Maine Maritime, obviously, that first half really isn't exactly what you wanted, but you're only down 1-0. And, if you happen to score a goal here, maybe per se, early in this first half, it can really possibly change some momentum. As the ball goes out of play, be a throw in here for Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer into Morales. Morales. It'll be once again Beckenbauer with a throw in.
And for the Eagles, if they can get that second goal that we saw last weekend, it gave them a lot of momentum in the game, and they could play a lot more calm and make some plays that they might not normally make, and just kind of pass the ball around and not try to get trigger happy that they're already winning by 2. They don't need to score right off the bat. They may as well get themselves that almost perfect opportunity in front of the goal.
Right, that was what I was going to bring up. The Eagles, I'm sure, are looking to try to score early in the second half to try to get to a more comfortable lead. Obviously, like you mentioned last weekend, we saw that happen with a goal from Kiko Sanchez, and from the rest of the game on, they just had control of the game to the finish. And so the Eagles are looking to try to capitalize here and try to push their lead. It's Regatas. Gives over to Alvarez. Be kicked out there by the Mariners. Be throw in here for Arias. Arias gives it into Heriderson. To Regatas. Regatas back to Heriderson. Kicked down by Van der Mergel. Heriderson will lose that one and be San Pedro with the throw-in.
And the Eagles made no changes at halftime, so we'll see how head coach Gavin Penny decides to work some players in here in the second half, or if he's going to keep these same 11 out there for the majority of this game. That I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles' back line stays in there for most of this game. That both those players in Shumway and Molina have played a lot of minutes for this team and have often played for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, and I'm sure too, Coach Gavin Penny has probably told us some of his starters, and that you with obviously the playoff time, you're probably going to be expected to possibly play the whole game, or at least a majority of the game. Normally, Coach Gavin Penny normally will throw in some subs here in the second half, but we'll see if he will decide to keep the starters in for most of the game, or we'll find out. Rex Steiner will come out of the box for that one and pick that one up. Gives over to Molina. Molina gives a pass to Regatas. Regatas will lose that one as Fortuna Ramos takes it. Molina kicks it down towards the midfields. Try to give his way over to Nichols. Mongo. So Alvarez will send it down. And it'll be Gray who will boot that one down the field.
And also, Isaac, with the new playoff rules that have been implemented this year, that if this game were to become a tied game here in the second half, that both these teams would have to play an extra 20 minutes of soccer no matter what, even if one team were to score a minute into that overtime. That I think Coach Penny knows that, and he might want to give some of these players a spell out there just in case. The possibility of, it's one thing to make them play 90 minutes, and it's another thing to make them play a full 110-minute soccer game out here.
Right, that definitely can take a big impact on the players, and we'll definitely see what happens here if we do happen to see that happen this weekend. Morales tries to give a pass over to Regatas, and Gray will make a diving play there to stop that. Whoever wins here will advance to the NAC East Championship on Sunday. Whoever wins this one will play the winner of Thomas College or UMaine Farmington, which is another rematch of last year's game. As last year was UMaine Farmington made a run to the NAC Championship before falling in overtime to SUNY Poly. Actually went down to penalty kicks. So they're going to be a team to keep an eye out for as well in these NAC playoffs. Arias gives over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer gives it to Fortuna Ramos. And it'll be kicked out there, and Eagles will have a goal kick. Eagles coming in here, too, playing some really good soccer. They've won their last 5 games here. Their last loss coming against number 22 ranked Bowdoin College. They lost that one 2-0. But, the Eagles definitely coming in, playing good soccer at the right time.
Yeah, they had a very excellent regular season as well, as they went undefeated in the NAC, and they kind of bulldozed the entire league this season.
Yeah, they definitely had a strong season, and they're looking to try to make a run towards that North Atlantic Conference Championship. They once again were able to host the NAC East playoffs. They did fall to UMaine Farmington in the NAC East Championship game. They lost that game 1-0. So the Eagles definitely motivated to try to make another run here once again. But Maine Maritime will look to try to ruin those plans for the Eagles. Van der Mergel tries to send it down towards Harrison. There'll be a throw in here for Shumway. Arias will throw it in. So that one will once again be another throw in coming. Arias tries to give it down to Ryderson, taken away there by the Mariners. Dickinson trying to stay with it, but Molina will kick it down the field. Echeverse. Dickinson tries to make a nice pass over to Harrison, but Rechsteiner will kick that one out. Gives it over to Arias. Arias with some nice moves here on the right side, still bringing it up. Gives a pass over to Hariderson. Hariderson looking to make a cross. Tries to give it to Regatas and gets a foot on it. It just goes too far to the right. As a missed opportunity there from him.
Yeah, just another excellent play from the Eagles there. Hariderson sent a really nice ball right across the top of the 6, and I think Regatas is kind of beating himself up a little bit right now that he's had several opportunities in this game and in last game to capitalize on one of those shooting opportunities, and he hasn't quite managed to do that.
Yeah, definitely like you mentioned, he has had his opportunities in the game. That was probably one of his better ones that he has had. But the Eagles still will have it at a 1-0 lead. Ryderson gives it to Echeverse. Echeverse tries to give a pass, taken away there by Nichols. Rechsteiner giving over to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer to Morales. Morales making a nice little move. And he'll have a turnover here, and here's Smith. Smith gets by Shumway. Smith trying to make a play. Nice defensive stop there from Mossy Mongo, and the Eagles take it away.
Masamongo is somebody who's, over the last 2 seasons, has won multiple NAC Defensive Player of the Weeks, and he's certainly a great defender for this Eagles squad, and he made a great play there to clean up for Morales' mistake there. That I'm not sure if it was quite forced there, that he had several players on his back, and I think he panicked a little bit and was trying to get that away from him and just made the wrong decision out there, but his teammates were there to get his back.
Absolutely. This will be a kick here from Shumway. Shumway will send it down towards Van de Mergel to Ray Gaddis. Ray Gaddis gives a nice pass over to Morales. Morales tries to take a shot and will go too far to the right there. Go out of play, and now we're going to see some subs. Eagles making their first sub of the game as number 11, Alejandro Mora, checking in. Going to give number 24, Arnie Heriderson, a break. We're going to see number 4, Daniel Shismar, checking into the game for number 8, Wilson Pedro.
Moore is somebody who's a very excellent player for this Husson team. That he's coming off an injury at the start of the season, and he's been off to a little bit of a slow start due to that, but he's somebody that last season was one of the team's best goal scorers, and is somebody who can certainly bring a spark to this offense.
Definitely could. He's done a lot of good things for the team. Like you mentioned, he was injured a little bit at the beginning of the year, but when he does play, he does do a lot of good things offensively for the team. So ball's trying to be sent down the field. Rechsteiner really going out of the box there for that one. The ball finds its way over to Ray Gaddis. Over to Mora, who just checked in. Mora will lose it. And here's Harrison. As ball goes out of play there. Mora. Mora over to Ray Gaddis here. We apologize for the scoreboard issue here. As it's going to be a throw in here for Arias. Arias gives it into Mora. The ball go out of play, giving back over to the Eagles here. As Shismar. As the ball will be kicked down here towards Shumway. Rechsteiner will give it over there to Shumway, over to Mora. Mora. Mora will try to give a nice pass down towards Arias. Will be given over to Gray. Gray will get ready to kick down the field here. Mossy Mongo, Arias. Ball goes out of play, be given back over there to the Mariners. There's 32-26 left to play in this game. Eagles currently hanging on to a 1-0 lead. If you missed it, it was Mario Alvarez who scored the first goal of the game. He had a penalty kick. Gray made a stop, and then Alvarez got right in there off the rebound and scored. Nichols. Arias staying with it here. And then Arias will make a throw in.
And the Eagles here in the second half are continuing to just dominate possession, Isaac, as they've had a lot of the ball here in this game, and it's something that's a big focus factor for Coach Gavin Penny's offense.
The Eagles are just trying to capitalize here, looking to try to make this lead to a 2-goal game. They just have not been able to capitalize on their points and letting Maine Maritime stick around. But, the Eagles defense has, made it difficult, though, for the Mariners to really be able to do something here offensively.
Yeah, and these teams are playing pretty well today, Isaac, as we apologize for the camera issues, as the booth was dealing with a little bit of a technical problem up here, but we're still going.
As Maine Maritime was able to score a goal there thanks to a goal by Ronnie Morgan, and that goal came about, I would say, 5 minutes ago, as there's about 21-25 left to play here in the second half. But that goal definitely came at a big time for the Mariners.
Yeah, they were down 1, and the Eagles have been pressing here in this whole second half, and to get that goal that knotted up here is a real big momentum boost for this team.
As we'll see how this one turns out and how the Eagles will respond to this. Mossy Mongo. And it looks like there's an injury down on the play here, as it looks like it's number 19, Elijah Yeton, who looks to be down on the play. He looks to be shaken up a little bit.
And as we talked about earlier, Isaac, with the new overtime rules, if this game were to stay 1-1 all the way till the 90th minute, then it would go into a 20-minute non-golden goal overtime, which means that even if one team were to score right off the bat, they would still go the full 20 minutes. And if it were to remain tied after that, it would go into penalty kicks at the end of the game, which would go until one team had scored more than the other in groups of 5. That this game could potentially go on for.
Yeah, it definitely does have the potential to go into overtime here, as we're just now under 21 minutes left to play. Shumway over there to a nice shot there, and it was deflected, and it will be a corner kick here, as the Eagles crowd looking to try to get into it here. As Alvarez is going to take this corner kick here. Alvarez will get ready. Alvarez, the nice pass inside, headed away. And now it's Audience comes away with it. Fortuna Ramos trying to bring it up, and it looks like we're going to have a foul called here. And the ref comes over just to break up the chatter between the two teams. Definitely you could tell both of these teams really want to keep their season alive here.
Yeah, emotions are running hot right now, as this is a make-or-break game for both these teams. And for a lot of these players, this could be their final game of their college career. And it's something that I think it's a very important game for both of them, almost more important than a senior night game.
Right, as the Eagles are looking to try to bounce back off the Mariners' goal that was scored in the second half here. And we'll see if there'll be someone who comes out victorious at the end of regulation, or if we will happen to see some overtime play here in the playoffs. Arias tries to make a throw in towards Alvarez. Mongo gives over to Shumway. Shumway to Beckenbauer. Beckenbauer gives it to Morales. Falls over and play continues on here. That Smith gives over to Morgan. Beckenbauer over to Morales. Back over to Beckenbauer. Ball goes out of play. Be a throw in here for the Eagles. Morales will give it over to Shumway. Shumway now. Over to Arias. Arias on the right side. Look to bring it up. Tries to make a move. Gives it over to Welch, and there will be a foul called on the play. And it looks like foul's going to be called on Van der Mergel. And the Eagles could have a very good chance here.
Yeah, this is a direct kick that he could very easily take a shot on it here. It looks like both Alvarez and Welch will line up on it. That we've seen Welch hit one from about this distance earlier in the season, and I think the Eagles might try to put a shot on this from about this range.
It's Alvarez and Welch back there for the Eagles. Welch is over to Alvarez. Alvarez takes a shot and finds the back of the net. And Alvarez gives the Eagles the lead once again.
And that was just a perfect play from him there to just get in the back of the net there and just bury that goal home, Isaac.
Wow, what a shot there from Alvarez. Able to find the back of the net as Alvarez just was an absolute rocket. As that goal comes with about 16:43 left to play here in this second half. But wow, what a goal there from Alvarez.
And you saw Welch on that play was more of just a distractory player out there to potentially get in on goal, and he just distracted the whole team and allowed Alvarez to bury that into the bottom of the net.
That goal comes with about 16:41 left to play here in this second half. The Eagles gaining back that momentum on their sides, but we will see what happens here as there's still lots of time left to be played in this game.
Yeah, and you could hear the just pure emotion from the team and from the fans, and just this whole team is fired up right now as that goal couldn't have come at a better moment.
Arias trying to stay with it, as it will be a corner kick here for the Eagles. Mario Alvarez scoring his second goal of the game here, making so far a big impact. Alvarez will get ready to take this corner kick here. Alvarez. Take the corner here, waiting for the players to line up. He's being patient here. Alvarez sends it in towards Molina. Kicked out there by Harrison, and here comes the Mariners. A great defensive play there by the Eagles, and Arias will come away with it. 15:09 left to play here in this second half. As ball finds its way over towards Arias. Arias gives it over to Rex Steiner. I'm sure here the Eagles will look to continue to be patient here offensively.
Yeah, they have the ball in their court, as you would say right now, that they have the opportunity to pass this around and not so much as waste time, but more just keep possession and limit the number of chances that this Mariners team has on the field.
Absolutely, as If the Eagles probably were to score here, that would make it very tough for the Eagles, or excuse me, the Mariners to come back in this game, as we see a foul here on the play. There's now about 14 minutes left to play here in this second half.
And for the Mariners, they're only down one, but they're losing, but they're only down one, and it's about as close as you can get while losing a game. So I think for them, they're not that worried out here right now, as they still have the opportunity to tie this game up and or potentially win it, as there's still 13 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, still lots of time left in the game, as we will see some more Husson subs who are going to check into the game. We're going to see number 3, Pablo Morato, check into the game for number 15, Rafael Beckenbauer. Mingo Infante will also check into the game here soon for the Eagles, as more time was added back on the clock there. It'll be 13:52 left to play.
And Maritime, who's a very talented young player for this team, who's been dealing with a little bit of an injury lately, but he just got cleared to play. I talked to him yesterday, and he sounded excited to get back out there. And you can see Coach Penny has a lot of trust in him to put in this very big scoring chance and a very big game situation right now.
Definitely lots of for him, like you mentioned. You always love to be able to play, to be able to come back in time and play some playoff action. Nothing like it. So as they look at me, number 9, Alvarez is going to get a break here, and he's going to take his time coming off the fields to let more clock.
And Alvarez is certainly the player of the game for this Eagles squad. He currently has both their goals and somebody who will certainly be applauded in the locker room, no matter the result after this game.
Absolutely.
But I would not be surprised if we don't see him out there later on in this game. Well,
you definitely could see him be thrown back out there. The Eagles trying to stay with it here, and it'll be a throw here for the Eagles. I will be going back over to the Mariners, excuse me. It's going to be Shizmar with throw-in. Ball finds its way over towards the Bleaks. Another throw-in here for Maine Maritime. Shizmar tries to give it down over. Harrison gives it to Arias. Go off of Smith and go out of play back to the Eagles. Welch has played for quite a bit of time here in the second half.
he came in during that little bit of a power out had up here in the booth. That he's somebody who's a very talented player for the team. That it's only his first season, despite being an older player. Turn it back over to here.
Rata tries to make a crossover. All step and stay and play. Be a throw in here.
But as I was saying, he's somebody who's a very talented year player who has a lot of experience. Where he played Division soccer during his fresh season at Northeastern, and he's somebody who has a lot of stuff out there for the team and can come off the bench and make an immediate impact on the field.
Definitely, like you mentioned, a lot of experience. Went to Bangor High School growing up. Won a few state championships with them. Like you mentioned with Northeastern, he went to Liberty University and MTU Denver. And coming back here for his grad season and playing for this team, and he's done some good things for them on the season and provide a good offensive put for the team. As Gray will take the kick here.
And the Eagles, too, have changed up their formation a little bit. They now have defensive fielders and Domingo and Dante and Ozzy Mongo out there as the four-back line. And imagine Coach B would like to hold on to lead here in the league and change it to a little bit more of a defensive formation.
Throwing line his way over to Molina. A little bicycle kick there. And it's going to be taken away there by the Eagles. Ryderson tried down to Welch. Harrison over to loses it. Morales gives it over to Arias on the right side. Arias gets tripped up there. And whistle stop. And it looks like it actually is going to go on Arias. He quickly gets up.
Yeah. And while they've gone into a more defensive formation, doesn't quite mean that this Eagles squad is not going to stay aggressive out there. They're still going to take the opportunities to score as a set or a goal here could make all the difference.
Yeah, if they were having to be able to set that third goal, it would look like Husson would most likely run away with this here, as it's 9:16 left to play here in this second half. As Shizmar will get ready to kick it here. Shizmar will boot it down. To Murato. Over to Welch. Welch gives it to Ryderson. Ryderson gives it over to Mora and misses the chance there. Could have been a good chance.
Yeah, now is certainly another good opportunity from this team to potentially get a goal there. Is a great pass across around the penalty spot there from Horizon, and Murato and Mora there had great opportunities for that potential goal chance.
Murato gives it over to Simango, over to Arias on the right side here. As that's going to be Moulton, who's going to give it back over towards Gray. Infante, Welch sends it down to Mora. Mora with a crossover. Morales takes a shot, finds the back of the net. And the Eagles have pushed their lead to a 2-goal lead thanks to Miguel Morales.
Yeah, and that was just a perfectly calm play from him, that backside, to just confidently take that on his right foot, just back of the net there.
What a big goal there. As we'll try to take a look at the replay here. As the ball found its way over to Morales. And Morales just easily finding the back of the net on that one. And that goal comes at a huge time. As now Husson is up 3-1. And with 8:25 left to play here in this game.
That was certainly a huge goal there from Morales, as the talented young freshman kept his composure there in a big moment and just found the back of the net as it just kind of dribbled its way out to him, and he knew just what to do with it when he got it at his feet.
Kind of that play kind of all started with Welch made a nice pass over to Mora. Mora with a great long pass over, and then Morales is able to find that back of the net there. And Mariners, there's still some time left. They're going to have to score early. They want to still be able to have a chance. Murato, as that one just goes a little bit too far in front of him. We'll go out of play, and it'll be a goal kick here for the Mariners. We're going to see some subs. It's number 8, Christian Quiones, the 5, Kiko Sanchez, and number 31, Will Feldman checking the game. For number 22, Miguel Morales. Number 24, Arnie Heriderson, and number 6, Mosi Masimoto. As they high fives from their coaches and players.
Yeah, and with that 2-goal lead, Coach Penn feels a little bit more comfortable extending that bench a little bit, bringing in some more players, because with Husson theoretically moving on here, they'd be playing in 2 days versus the Farmington Thomas Call game here later tonight. He wants to ensure that those players are rested and ready for that game as well.
Nice trying to get down to Mora, be picked up by Gray. I feel like you mentioned, with time running out now, the Eagles, can afford really to throw in some of their subs here, try to save for Sunday. Obviously, you don't want to get anybody hurt, anything like that for their championship game. That will be a 1 o'clock start. As Christian Quiones takes it away, looking to bring it up here. And it's going to be a foul there on Quiones. So now we're just under 6 minutes left to play.
And when we talked earlier, the very deep Husson bench too, and while they be thrown in some, it's not like bringing out players who have played out before. That these guys who have gone are made a big impact on this team this season, and for the foreseeable future. A lot of players who went in are very young players, minus Kiko Sanchez, of course. But
yeah, and like you kind of mentioned earlier, the Eagles have just set a bench that they can be able to, go to the type of players, Quiones and Mora and Welch and all those other players. It's definitely a nice thing to have if you're Coach Gavin Penny, and to have, a young team, looking to try to make it here for the NAC championship.
what allows you as well to just bring in those players can make an impact out there and not have a quality of play drop off of all that steep of a grade that these players have come. I haven't really noticed that much of a change in the quality from this Husson off. Even with those players who haven't been out there as much, they can still come out and make an impact.
As well, just a nice pass. There's some more, but it will go offsides as the Mariners look to quickly get the ball here as continues to run down on them. I'll be sent downfield towards Sanchez. Find his way over to Amante, over to Feldman. Quiones. That's Chamberlain now. Bring it up. Chamberlain trying to give it down to Mora. Way too far in front of him. And the Mariners will look to bring it up. Morgan tries to send it down to McKinney. Over to Infante. Staying with it here. Gives it to Shumway. Chamberlain tries to give it over to Infante. Audience almost took away there, but still stays with it. As the Eagles looking to add one more to it. Gray sends it down towards Molina. Infante heads it over to Morgan. And Audience gets a shot, and it just goes too far to the right. And a huge opportunity there for the Mariners.
Yeah, he'll be playing that one back in his over the next few days. That he definitely had a great opportunity there for them. Just couldn't quite find in the back of the net there. He wanted it to the right.
That definitely could have been a dangerous situation there for the Eagles, and was a missed opportunity for the Mariners. That still could have given them a little bit of time to still be able to do something. As now we're just under 3 minutes left to play here. The Eagles are looking like trying to hang on. McKinney going to try to take a shot here, and he does, and he finds the back of the net. As there was a goal there, as Harrison quickly trying to take the ball. That goal comes with 2:31 left play. What a big goal there for McKinney.
It was a great ball over the top of him, as it looked like Shumway just couldn't quite get on the end of that. And I think a lot of these Husson players right now are calling for the foul there. And you keep in mind that they still have the 1-goal lead here with about 2 minutes to play.
That goal, still time left here. That goal, nice play there. McKinney able to break free there and able to find back in the net. Now there's 2:24 left to play. We'll see what happens here as the Mariners have some life. A trip there from Dickinson will be called for a foul, and now the clock's about to. Going to be 2 minutes to play here in this game.
And the Eagles right now are at no rush to get this free kick off, and I'm sure they'll take about as much time as the rest will allow them here in this late going. The
Eagles will continue to be patient here as clock is their friend right now. Molina gives it over to Mora. Mora's going to take a shot. Blocked away from Gray. But not the worst thing in the world. This will now be a corner kick here for the Eagles, as they will look to continue to be pitted.
Great job by Gray in that last play to just get his back post and knock that ball with Mora. Took maybe one too many on that back end of the six.
Well, gives over to Quinones. That ball will go out of play, and it will be back over to the Mariners. 1 minute left to play here in this game. Husson hanging on to a 3-2 lead. Welch gives it over to Mora. Mora good. Think about taking a shot here. Great coming. No foul there, and looks like there will be a foul called inside the box. We'll see who they called on.
Yeah, I can see the official right now right at the spot, and this might be a penalty kick here, Isaac, but I'm not really sure. There was fouls on plays, and we just got the call there from the referee that it is in fact going to be a penalty kick here with about 40 seconds left to play.
That's Paul Marato looking to for another this goal here. Marato lining up. Marato gets ready here. And Gray with a nice stop. Marato tries it in, and that's going to be out there. A big defensive stop there from the Mariners. As a fight breaks out on the field here. Both teams clearing.
Players clear the field. Players clear the field.
As we're seeing some more fighting here. As both teams clear the benches here. So I did not see what kind of happens.
Yeah, it looked like the goalkeeper there grabbed Morato at the end of that penalty kick there. I'm not sure if there was words said, but he grabbed the Morato there, and the players came in from both sides, and I saw a couple late hits that are certainly not plays you want to see on the soccer field with Isaac, and this is something that is just a little bit embarrassing for both teams. Emotions are high, but you never want to let them go to the point that
as both teams head back towards their benches here, as I'm sure we're possibly going to see some actions from this game. And this could possibly mean something, as you never know. Both, with Husson possibly going to be looking like they're going to hang on for its win, but we'll see what happens, if there's going to be any ejections or anything like that. But definitely was a crazy situation there, not something that you want to see.
Yeah, and I saw Coach Penny there streaking across the field to try to break up his players. There's for a lot of these Husson players, they were almost defending their teammates out there. As from what it looked like, I don't want to pick sides here, but both teams, and something you don't want to see out on the field, Isaac.
No, definitely it's not what you want to see. Is as the referee still trying to talk things over, trying to figure out what started and to see if they are going to toss players or give any cards out or anything like that.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the Husson higher ups here trying to calm this team down a lot, because it currently looks like they move on to that championship game on Sunday, and you still don't want to be missing some of your key players over a stupid fight out on the field late one.
As the referees are starting to walk over here, as we'll figure out here, they will decide, like we mentioned, it's going to be a game after this one. It's going to be College Terriers take on Maine Beavers. It was a rematch from last year's semifinal. Very entertaining game as well. Game is approximately start at 7:30. Might start a little bit later.
Yeah, I'd imagine that start might get pushed up a little bit. The recent ongoing on the field, but we'll see what the referee comes away with here. But that game later on will certainly good matchup, as both those teams are very talented and very, very skilled, with skilled players out there who could make a lot of good scoring opportunities for both of them.
Yeah, both of the teams I'm really excited to see. The Terriers did play here earlier, as the Terriers held it to the Eagles at the very beginning of this year, 2-0, and the referee has stopped talking to both of the coaches. We're going to see what happens, as it looks like it's Mo's walking off the field right now.
Yeah, I'm sure if actually Moore and Gray who got into the fight there, but
and it looks like it'd be number 1 Trevor Gray, number 11 Alejandro Mora receiving a red card, and they're going to be tossed from the game here. And we're going to see number 00 Maxwell Tomlin, the senior goalkeeper from Monroe, Maine, who's going to into the game here.
yeah, there'll be a field player who will have to come off for this team, as they're going to have to take off a player in order to bring that goalkeeper in, and both these teams will be playing with just players on the field here for the end of this last 35 seconds or so.
Well, we hear number 2022 Spencer Rubin checked out the game here, and we'll see what happens. With 31 seconds left to play here, it has been a chaotic game for sure. Feldman is going to get down the fields. Well, it's going to go out to play. Jacoya going to have a throw in here. 15 seconds left. Ball goes play out again. 10 seconds now. Fortuna Ramos trying to send it down. Keeps it in play. Actually, does not keep it in play. And Eagles are going to hang on and advance to NAC East Championship game. And the Eagles win 3-2.
Yeah, now Isaac, I think some of the Husson higher-ups are going to head out there and make sure that there's no extracurricular that happens after those fights from earlier. That I think they're just going to, Maine Maritime's going to want to get players just off the field right now.
Yep, as we see officials and some of the Husson team personnel coming over just to make sure any more as the Eagles are up, win the game 3-2. But as the Eagles come away with 3-2 victory, and just a great response here from the Eagles in that second half after giving that goal in the beginning of the second half. A goal from Alvarez and Miguel Morales ended up being the deciding factor. And the Eagles come away with a very Avery, any real thoughts from this game?
I think it's just two good teams here to Isaac, and it was certainly an entertaining matchup, and I think Husson will be glad to head home and sleep tonight.
As the Eagles come away with a 3-2 victory, they'll advance to the North Island Conference East Championship game on Sunday, and they will face the winner of Thomas College and UMaine Farmington. Isaac Potter, Avery Henningsen. Stay tuned, everyone, for the next game after this. One last time, the Eagles win 3-2 over Maine Maritime, and will advance to North Atlantic East Championship game.